2-2 against Celta Vigo in the Betway Cup final, and we managed to win 6-5 on penalties. So first trophy of 4. Lots of work still to do, of course. Lots of signings, of course, to come into the side and integrate into that starting 11. But it was an interesting game, and there was a lot of positives to take. Still some weaknesses or areas to improve on as well, which we're going to get into in this video. So if you do enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, let's get into firstly the lineups. This is how we kind of set up. It was slightly different to this, of course. Kilman was playing left centre back, Mavropanos right centre back, Areola in goal, Kufal, Emerson either side of them, and a midfield three of Souček, Paqueta, and Guido Rodriguez. Bowen on the right, Kudus on the left, and Antonio up front. And the average age of that first 11 was actually 29.1 years old, which definitely surprised me. But it was an interesting game. Let's get into kind of the detailed breakdown analysis and go through the goals, especially from the first half, and what we can mainly take away from this final preseason game for Julian Lopetegui and West Ham before we play Aston Villa next week. So, yeah, let's go take a look at the lineups and structural tactical play of West Ham. So, this is kind of how we set up. It was almost a 4-3-3. Kudus and Bowen, when we didn't have the ball, were very, very inverted like this. Everyone was playing very close together. And to be honest, this is the best the press has looked under Lopetegui so far in terms of coordination and improving turnovers. However, there is still gaps in there to kind of improve on. But overall, it was a very good start from West Ham. We did look open throughout the first half, but we managed to get the first goal through Bowen. And I just want to take it back to here of the importance of what we're going to see with Paqueta this season, because we've said on this channel for a long, long time now that Paqueta's best position is that 8 position, deep lying playmaker, instrumental in the build up, and can have the license to drift into the advanced final third areas of the pitch when needed. So let's use this as the ball for an example for the first goal and bring it up a touch. So Paqueta got the ball in this kind of area here. And it happened a lot throughout the first half. He was looking for passes over the top into the box. A few times they didn't work, but especially Kudus and Bowen, they were making this out to in run between the fullback and centre back to try and get in. And that's where Paqueta's going to try and play those balls over. Same with Antonio trying to spin off his man. But Bowen as well was getting very close into this area and always looking for the gap between the left back and the centre back to make that run inside. And that's exactly how the first goal came in the first half. Paqueta picking up the ball here, saw exactly what was going on. Bowen as well, excellent for him to just come straight back in pretty much after the summer he's had with England and a lack of minutes for pre-season, and he looked very sharp and he was instantly alert. So when Paqueta gets this ball, you just have this synergy with players. As soon as they get the ball, you know exactly what to do and you know exactly what runs to make. And that's why having Paqueta as this kind of number 8 who can drift a little bit forwards, but mainly sits in here. And then you've got obviously Souček was being the counter 8 here with Rodriguez as the 6. But what we got is Paqueta getting the ball, instantly looking for areas to play, whether that's switching, whether that's balls over the top. And Bowen made an outstanding run and timed it perfectly with the ball of Paqueta over the top of their left centre back. It was perfectly into this area. Bowen took one touch, fantastic touch, and just slotted it past the goalie underneath his legs and made it 1-0. But this pass over to Bowen here and this run is something we will see a lot this season if Paqueta plays central. And this is the way we want to play under Lopetegui, which it definitely is. So that was fantastic. That was the first goal. And it was just a really, really good start. It kind of set the flow and mood of how we wanted to play. And, it was very clear that we were trying to press high. Paqueta was kind of given the license to drop deep, connect play with the likes of Emerson. He was a little bit sloppy on the ball in the first half. In a couple of moments, he was trying to, just play up to the preseason friendly, but that's Paqueta, what you're going to kind of do. But he is a player that can play those passes. And to be honest, he's one of the very few midfielders we currently have that can play those passes. Souček doesn't do it. Ward-Prowse doesn't do it. Guido Rodriguez will do it to an extent, but not to the quality of Paqueta. And same with Edson Alvarez as well. So we don't really have a creative 8 like that other than Paqueta. So the importance of playing him there is massive. And he's going to be instrumental to how we want to play in offensive transitions and defensively as well, depending on his midfield counterparts that we play in a midfield 3. But yeah, we took the lead 1-0 after 6 minutes. And then they equalised in the 21st minute with Ristic. Again, it was It was sloppy defending, but it was an unlucky goal. But there are aspects of the goal that could have been improved. And what I'm wanted to highlight was Emerson, because the ball kind of came out to this side. We were kind of dropped back like this in a kind of defensive shape. They were pressing up. The ball was out wide. They had a lot of time on the ball. This is how it came in. Let's drop Guido Rodriguez back there as well because he was involved. The ball was out wide over here. Emerson was kind of in this position, so we were kind of set. He had the ball, and Emerson, we've seen it a lot. Very, very slow to get out to the kind of winger and stop this cross from coming in, stop this ball across the face of goal coming in, and that's what Emerson didn't do. Um, I've highlighted Emerson as one that could potentially drop off a little bit this season. I know people are a lot excited by the signings and the way we can play offensively, but I just think in transitions and defensively, those blocks and those crosses, those blocking of crosses, and making sure we're defensively structured well and rigid, it concerns me a little bit. I'll be honest, especially with the way we're wanting to play. But again, the intensity of a preseason match is completely different to a Premier League match. So I'm hoping Emerson will be more alert in this situation. Say if this is against Aston Villa next weekend against their right winger, whether that's whoever, Liam Bailey, whoever they want to play out there. We're going to have to be alert to this situation, because no way can we let crosses like this get into the box. Mavropanos was he kind of lost his man, let him get across him, which again, another mistake. And he actually pulled down his man. It probably would have been a penalty. It came kind of to Kufal. Kufal headed it away to their player. And then Rodriguez tried to block it, and it cannoned off Rodriguez and went into the net for 1-1. So it was an unlucky goal in the sense that it deflected in, and after the cross, it fell very nicely for their player. But overall, Emerson has to get closer. Mavropanos again has to be switched on. You cannot let your man run across the front post like that to get or cause the chaos that unfolded after that. And yeah, it was just, we have to be very careful defensively, because we're probably going to see it more often in transition this season, where we are left in those situations where our back four and six are having to defend the transition and deal with a counter-attacking threat. And it's something we posed ourselves as West Ham as counter-attacking threat under David Moyes, and teams found it really, really hard to contain. We're going to have to find a way of containing it, because defensively it wasn't good enough. I know we've got Todibo to come in here. We've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka to come in here. So this defense will probably look different. 50% of this defense is likely to look different going forwards. But it doesn't change the fact that Emerson's too slow to block the cross. It doesn't change the fact that our centre-backs need to be alert to the situation in the box. And, we have to be switched on in those situations. But again, it's a pre-season match. Let's not read too much into that. And hopefully they'll be more switched on going into the actual official Premier League games. But this video is sponsored by Emotiv. Emotiv provide cutting-edge digital services, solutions, and training to companies and businesses of all sizes. Emotiv have worked with some fantastic brands in the past, as you can see behind me, the likes of Apple, Google, Tesco, and of course, Babylon Irons. Emotiv offer 4 key services, the first being digital solutions, the second being professional training and coaching, the third being fractional experts, and the fourth being AI readiness. We're going to be working with Emotiv on our channel to improve how we showcase the data to you guys in our breakdown videos and data analysis videos. If you want to find out more information about how Emotiv can work with you, make sure to scan the QR code now, which will take you to emotivtouch.com, where you can find out more details about the company, and the link will be in the description. A massive thank you to Emotiv once again for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to it. We then managed to take the lead, and this goal was fantastic. And again, just illustrated the importance of playing Paqueta as that number 8 in midfield. I couldn't believe that I've seen so many people saying Paqueta does not start for us now with these signings that we've made. Unbelievable. He's one of the first names on the team sheet by far, and we'll be very lucky to keep him past this window with, now he's been cleared to play. But let's take a look at the goals. So again, Paqueta picking up the ball in this situation, always looking to play forwards, always looking to interlink between players. He played the ball into Antonio's feet. Antonio pivoted to Bowen, but what Paqueta doesn't do is stand still and admire his pass. He's in here. He's in this channel. He's looking to play with combination play. He plays to Antonio. While the ball's going to Antonio, Paqueta recognises he can actually make this run again between the centre-back and the left-back. Antonio plays a lovely little pass to Bowen, who's probably a little bit closer to the edge of the box here. And Bowen, without even really hesitating or thinking, plays a fantastic pass to match the run of Paqueta into the box. Paqueta has a little bit of time and dinks it over the goalie. 4-2-1. Really nice composed finish. Paqueta goes off and celebrates, and we're 2-1 up. So, again, a really, really nice goal. And it really is simple. It really is a simple point. Paqueta playing centrally will make things happen, whether you like it or not. He has to play as an 8. I don't care what midfielders we sign. I don't care if people are scared we're going to be a little bit defensively vulnerable. You have to accommodate for Lucas Paqueta in this midfield three. It's a no-brainer for me. And again, there's obviously benefits and weaknesses to playing any player in midfield. You could say we could bring in someone like Alvarez and to play along Rodriguez as a more solid 2-6 pairing, and have Paqueta 10, but then you're limiting where Paqueta can get the ball from. You're limiting where he picks up the ball. You're limiting the space that he's going to be getting deeper as an 8. He has to play as a deep 8. That is his best position. So again, he can connect and move forwards when he needs to, as illustrated with our second goal and his first goal. And once again, Jarrod Bowen, first game as captain. I think this has now signified that he will be the club captain going into next season. Fantastic pass to Lucas Paqueta. And yeah, that made it 2-1 going into half time. And yeah, the first half was kind of where we saw most of West Ham's good play. We obviously didn't score in the second half. We conceded in the second half. So I'm going to stop sharing there because I think that was what I kind of wanted to highlight. We obviously saw in the second half the likes of Somerville come on. We saw the likes of Fulcrook. Guilherme got some minutes as well, but it was difficult because they didn't get loads of minutes. And obviously there was a lot of different moving parts throughout the second half. So it wasn't really a balanced XI or starting 11. And yeah, we did concede that second goal. Again, it was sloppy defending initially from Agerd, giving the ball away. Then the two deflections to kind of fall to their striker or attacking midfielder, and they slotted it for 2-2. Okay, again, an element or slice of luck there, but you have to look before the action, and that was where Agerd gave the ball away. That was where we weren't good enough defensively or alert to the situation, and these are all things we need to address. Lopetegui said it himself. He did like a lot of the stuff we did in the match against Celta Vigo, but still a lot of areas to improve on defensively. And it is early days, but the Premier League is here now. There's no time to rest on our laurels, and it really is time to push up now. But yeah, penalty shootout followed that. We managed to win it. Fulcrook frustratingly missed his penalty. But yeah, some good penalties overall. Interesting that Cresswell took the first one. Also interesting that a lot of our senior players that were playing at the time decided to take the penalties or had the kind of weight of taking the penalty over some of the younger players, which I liked as well. I think that's quite a positive thing to do, take the pressure off the likes of Somerville, Guilherme to take a penalty within that top 5. And, I think Kilman, Agerd, Cresswell, all these Souček, they were all taking the penalties to start with. So again, showing that leadership in the team. And, we need to get a blend of youth and experience right, which is why the signings of Guido Rodriguez, Nicholas Fulcrook, as well as the likes of Somerville, Todibo coming in, Wan-Bissaka. It's a nice blend. So for me, there were a lot of positives to take. I think pressing, we looked a lot better structurally. I think that also helped because we had Kudus and Bowen. Antonio was pressing very well. And we had Paqueta in behind, and everyone was kind of synced as to what we needed to do. We do need to be careful when we press that we aren't leaving too many gaps in behind. Also defensively, when we don't have the ball, we are very, very narrow. You see Bowen and Kudus play very narrow. So it does require it requires your fullbacks to be switched on and high up with the midfield to kind of squeeze that space. Otherwise, it just makes it so easy to play, between the lines and around the midfield. But for me, a lot of positives. I thought Kufal actually had quite a good game. Mavropanos was up and down. Kilman, I thought he did okay as well. A few mistakes from the back, playing out and stuff. But I won't get into too much detail there. Emerson was okay. Again, defensively needs to be more switched on. Guido Rodriguez, a player we haven't actually spoken about. Fantastic. He was fantastic. He only played 45 minutes, played the first half, but he was really, really good. And, you can tell that he's got that, level above in terms of technical ability and assurance on the ball. And I said it when we signed him in the breakdown. This is going to go down as one of the more underappreciated signings. And for me, because Alvarez is injured, Guido starts against Aston Villa. Absolute no-brainer. You do not play anyone else other than him at 6 for that game. So, yeah, I thought he played well. Paqueta obviously was the star of the show, really, with a goal and assist. Same with Bowen, goal and assist as well. I thought those two played really well. I think it also showed that Kudus playing out on the left-hand side is not where we're going to benefit him. It also illustrated that it's going to be very difficult for Lopetegui to find the balance to get all of these players in. You know, Somerville could come in, but then you have to move Kudus centrally, which I would not be opposed to. I think a midfield of Guido or Alvarez with Paqueta and Kudus would be a really nice blend. And then you've got Bowen and Somerville either side of Antonio or Fulkirk. I think that's a really nice kind of front six. But there are going to be games where we do need to accommodate, and we do need to play a midfield pairing of Alvarez and Guido, or bring in someone like Souček. Again, it depends on sales and what happens in the rest of this transfer window. But it was a good game. There were definitely positives to take. We didn't really get to see too much of Fulkirk or Somerville, but they both looked sharpish. They weren't, they weren't setting the world alight. But yeah, I think as well, Todibo to come into that back line, and Wan-Bissaka to come into that back line. Defensively, we should look a lot stronger against Aston Villa if those two players do start. So yeah, main thing was we lifted the trophy, of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, first of 4, the League Cup, the FA Cup, and also the Premier League still to go. But in all seriousness, it's good to start off on a positive, isn't it? We've gone in with albeit a, whatever you want to call it, trophy. It's still a positive mental switch to go into the season with silverware, and recognizing that you are now in a position and you're ready to attack the season. And it's going to be a long season, so I'm excited for it. Let me know down in the comments below, are you excited for the season? What did you make of our final preseason match against Celta Vigo, where we drew 2-2 but won on penalties? And yeah, if you enjoyed the breakdown, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more content, and until the next one, come on you Irons.